Hello there people, this is Out of Pace. Today there will be quite an interesting video this time because as you can see there's still a bit of qualifying left and I'm preparing my setup as per usual and sitting in last place. That is one more thing to keep in mind. So I was pretty pumped for the race. It was a good few seconds in qualifying, but as you can see, boom, we have a rain. And what to do? Go to the setup and basically just redo all of the things. So we will take the we're looking at the guys, how much of a wet surface there is. You have to see visually. So we will take the wet setup, adjust of course the fuel, don't forget that, otherwise car is a little bit too heavy, and we will bump up those numbers for the tire pressures as the more the track is wet, the more PSIs you need in your tires to have a little bit more grip. So as we will start, I was pretty not sure. Actually, I was not sure. I was not sure if track is wet enough to use the wet setup. As you can see, we're just rolling those 100 meters, and tires are already heated up, and we are of course getting those brakes ready also. So accelerating and braking at the same time pretty heavily to get that first bus stop chicane as safe as possible for perspective of the braking. So excuse me. So we will wait for the green as per usual, and we will hit the throttle. As you can see right now, everybody started the race kind of normal speed for everybody, but you can see I'm still gaining on the guys, and not at this point. So we are just scoping the air where the danger will arise. So really close. One guy is facing the other way already. No, and another one, and another one. So natural selection at its best. You don't have to have the qualifying done. You just have to be careful and consistent. You don't have to overtake everybody, but you can see it's just my car is just getting away from everyone, just overtaking everybody on the streets. So that was a huge surprise. I think a little bit of contact, that wasn't too of major damage, but still damage. But in this race you will see that didn't really matter. So we had a really intense moment at the first before the first Nesmo. So the next one we're still trying to catch the Porsche, and you can see it's a half lap done and we are sitting in 8th place. Isn't that crazy? The guys are really not used to wet track. As you can see, just how much speed difference. It's just walking speed, and we are just gaining. So Porsche is really good on these corners, but at the acceleration it's just sad. And you can see also the Ferrari was really bad on the S section. So we will try to reach the leaders. As you can see, we are sitting in 6th place, first lap done of the race, and we are sitting in 6th place from the last place. And that was, I was so surprised. I didn't really anticipated this kind of a result so fast. I was expecting somewhat, but of course one of the things you have to expect is a lot of contact, a lot of guys spinning. It's a wet track and guys are scared of throttle, and they're flitching the wheel on every little this balance of the car, if you can say so, and resulting in a lot of spins, a lot of death and misery. So here we are at the back of the Porsche, two Porsches actually, so we'll try to seek out how fast they are. Actually, they're really slow everywhere, so but they just ended each other. I think it was, I don't know who the hell that was, but the Porsche got taken out, and all situation was just sad. Once again, guys that just don't really are used to setups. So you can take away all of the PSIs that I took for this kind of wet surface for Monza. So PSIs were really high actually, as you can see, 31 and 33 I think, I don't know, but it's really high. I think that's the one main reason why I'm so fast. I'm just catching up to the dudes really fast, but I don't know, it was just a dumb block, I think. I'm not so professional on setups, especially on wet setups. But in this case, as you can see, it was really luckily luck. So the first place, 2 laps done, and it's a second place. So first place, the Porsche is at my fingertips, and I will try to overtake him at the straight. As you can see, the acceleration of the Porsche is really good, but the end speed of the straights is really sad. I think it's a case with my tires. They're really pumped for the straight line speed. I think the more PSI you have in your tires, the more speed you will gain. It's just, I think it's just floating over the wet surface, and thus you're having a really good straight line speed. But I actually didn't have that much good of a grip and acceleration, but once it really hit the stability, usually it was really good. As you can see, I'm trying to be really careful with my braking. I'm trying to be really careful with the steering wheel, not flinch it too much, because I know that's the thing that the guys tend to do a lot, as the nervousness of the wet race really kicks in. So one thing, as you can see, we have a little bit of heat problems with the tires, so they're somewhat want to get in orange color, but as the race will go, you will see how interesting the race can be, that it really unfolds in a matter that tires really get really normal. As you can see, the tires are really normalizing the PSIs. A little bit later you're gonna see how the tires are getting really good, and the PSIs drop a little bit, and also the temperature of the tires get more stable also. So really interesting, considering what kind of PSI I used, and I'm kind of surprised that no puncture or something like that didn't occur. One thing was, this was completely new for me to have this kind of race, because considering it's a wet race, we started last, and then I find myself in the first place, and just passing guys like it's walking by, walking speed, just passing guys by. And it was really interesting. Nothing more to see here but the temperature of the tires, as you can see, really good. So this one is the last lap of the race, and interesting enough that a lot of guys really stayed, relatively, because a lot of guys tend to leave also, and maybe it's something to take away keep in mind. As usual, all of my videos have something to keep in mind at the end. I think that's kind of a I don't know, the saying card could be for the channel. Keep this in mind, keep that in mind. It's really good to keep that in mind. So really interesting that high PSIs also give you a good race at the wet surface. But still, I tried. I could feel that car doesn't want any sudden moves with the wheel. It doesn't like the acceleration too much, and it also didn't like the braking. Actually, I don't think that it liked any of this, but the one thing, as the cathedral of speed that Monza is, I think going all out on speed in this track is the best bet in wet surface condition. And also it was an interesting thing that I thought, what kind of how much the puddles have accumulated with water, so it was enough to have a good outcome of the race. So this will be it. It's a P1 for this one, and what can I say? Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it here, you're an absolute legend, and I hope you have a great day also, and thank you so much. Goodbye.